Peace and welcome to Oddly Familiar. In today's episode, we have 10 random video game themes that may or may not sound familiar, and they may or may not be on purpose. So anyways, let's get the Oddly Familiars back together and talk some music. Our first up today is from Streets of Rage 2, Round 6, Part 1, Wave 131. And here is Black Box, Everybody, Everybody.
Everybody, 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 everybody.
Streets of Rage 2 was released on December 20th of 1992, while Black Box Everybody Everybody was released on March 15th of 1990. The theme from Streets of Rage 2 has multiple influences that you can hear, but the first one we will talk about is right at the beginning of the track. It has the same tempo and feel. And lucky for me, I wasn't the only one who noticed this. Shout out and thanks to Gib81. Next up, a double whammy. Again from Streets of Rage 2, Round 6, Part 1, Wave 131. Now let's compare that to CNC Music Factory, Just a Touch of Love. So in Gib81's comment, he brought up both of these. So another quick thanks to Gib. Unlike the previous one, which I knew the song, I could never place this one. Anyways, the Streets of Rage soundtrack was done by none other than the legendary composer Yuzo Koshiro. While producing the soundtracks to the Streets of Rage games, he admittedly took influence from dance and club music. Its amped up energy fits the style that the devs wanted the game to have. We could probably do an entire Yuzo Streets of Rage episode if you, the viewers, want it. But the question is, do you want us to leave out submissions from previous Oddly episodes, or do you want us to include every single one we can find? Number 8, Adventures in the Magic Kingdom, the Prologue. And here is the Mickey Mouse Club theme.
Who's the leader of the club that's made for you and me? M-I-C-K-E-Y-M-O-U-S-E.
So this one is no surprise. It's a Disney game with a song from a Disney TV show. The soundtrack for the Adventures in the Magic Kingdom was done by none other than Yoko Shimomura, an all-time great composer and one of my favorites. It's kind of interesting to think that back in 1992 she produced the music for a Disney game, and then over a decade later, she composed for more Disney games when she did the Kingdom Hearts series. The Mickey Mouse Club first aired in 1955 and has been on and off the air ever since with a total of 620 episodes. You can also find my favorite version of the song in the movie Full Metal Jacket. It's near the end when the soldiers are marching and singing the song.
Boys and girls from far and near, you're welcome as can be. M-I-C-K-E-Y-M-O-U-S-E. Who's the leader of the club that's made?
Say yo, timer, what place is this?
Lucky number 7, The Town with No Name.
You know where you are.
And let's listen to the theme of the good, the bad, and the ugly. Maybe the best part about this game is the music. It at least has a steady rhythm, which is more than what I can say for some of the other games on the market. This game has terrible graphics, terrible voice acting, terrible quote-unquote gameplay, and then there's this music. It gets a 4 out of 10 from me just because it has at least a beat and a little bit of the good, the bad, and the ugly mixed in there. I don't recommend this game, and if you really want to hear the music, then these next 10 seconds should be enough. And that's all I recommend. Number 6, Cool Spot on the Super Nintendo, the locomotive theme. And here is the main theme from the Magnificent Seven. Directed by John Sturges, The Magnificent Seven came out in 1960. This movie was the inspiration for the Denzel Washington version of the movie that was released in 2016. This theme comes from the original movie and has a new version that you can hear in the Denzel version. Cool Spot is a platformer that came out in 1993 on the Super Nintendo. It didn't get a Japanese release because Japanese really didn't care about Spot, who, if you didn't know, was a mascot for 7-Up. That red dot right there, that's Cool Spot. Your cool, hip, new hero is a dot. Number 5, Lone Ranger on the NES, the opening. And here is the William Tell Overture. So while on the subject of Westerners and heroes, we decided to get this one out of the way too. While playing the Lone Ranger, you may have heard the background music and thought it was familiar. And it is. William Tell premiered in 1829, and now you can hear it in commercials, cartoons, movies, game shows, and to bring it full circle, the TV show Lone Ranger. The Lone Ranger is an American Western drama television series that aired on the ABC television network from 1949 to 1957. And in 1991, Konami, who developed and published this game, had the bright idea to release a game off of a character that hasn't been relevant in 35 years. The game itself isn't bad, I just find it an odd choice. Unlucky number 4, Tenchu 2, Birth of the Stealth Assassins, SHIREN. And Rayman 2, The Great Escape, the Bayou. Back in episode 5, we talked about this theme sounding familiar to a different song, and we had a viewer leave a comment. So quick shout out and thanks to Austin Francis. This comment mentioned how the Tenchu theme sounds familiar to this Rayman theme. And being the Tenchu fan that I am, I had to check this one out as soon as I was free. And it's the exact same. Rayman 2 and Tenchu 2 sampled the same source. I am sure it comes from a sample library, I just haven't found which one yet. they didn't cost in the hundreds of dollars a piece, I would have searched through every single one. But for now, if anyone knows the source, please comment and you will get a shout out in a later episode. Number 3, SONSON, the stage theme. And here is SMILE.DK and their song Butterfly. Once again, we have comments from users that helped bring this one to our attention. In a previous episode, we mentioned this, and now we have an all-new comparison. The song Butterfly was released in 1998 and SONSON in 1984. So this might be a case where the producer for the beat heard a melody they liked, or maybe just a coincidence. I will give you one interesting fact that may or may not have anything to do with this. There is a Japanese game show named TAKESHI'S Castle. It has aired on many different networks in many different countries, including in Europe, where the band SMILE.DK is from. On this game show, while watching, you can hear the SONSON theme in the background. The show uses it as a theme for Blueberry Hill, so this may be where the producer heard it. Or maybe they just played SONSON.
Object of the game, of course. Get up the hill without being spotted moving.
Number 2, Combat Cars, Character Select. Here is HADDAWAY, What is Love?
Baby, don't hurt me no more.
Long before this song made everyone think about Saturday Night Live, some of us thought about combat cars on the Sega Genesis. When you reach the character select screen, you are met with this track that has an undeniable influence from What is Love that was released in 1993. It was quite successful, reaching number 11 on the US charts and also reaching the charts in Australia, Canada, and New Zealand. Within the last dozen years, there has been a number of people sampling it, remaking it, and covering it. Combat Cars can say they were a few decades ahead of everyone else. They covered What is Love all the way back in 1994 when Combat Cars was released. And thanks to everyone who commented this one, there were definitely a few. Number 1, International Karate on the Commodore 64. And here's Ryuichi Sakamoto, Forbidden Colors from Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence. When it comes to the piano, not many pieces are more memorable to me than this one right here. Released in 1983, this film stars David Bowie and Ryuichi Sakamoto himself. And yes, that is the same Sakamoto that composed the soundtrack which won the 1983 BAFTA Award for Best Film Music. A quick fun fact for you, Takeshi Kitano from Takeshi's Castle and our number 3 entry today is in this movie. So if you watch it, you can hear what influenced international karate and also keep your eye out for Takeshi. International Karate was first released on the Spectrum in 1985 and the Commodore 64 in May of 1986, with the soundtrack being produced by Rob Hubbard, a British composer who composed over 75 games on the Commodore 64 between 1985 and 1989. I am new to his library myself, so I will be beginning my Rob Hubbard journey as we speak. So there we have episode 36 of Oddly Familiar. As always, we hope you enjoyed it. We have a lot of submissions from viewers, so we apologize if you left a comment and we haven't got to it yet. We will try to do as many as possible, so keep them comments coming. Shout out and big thanks to gold level patron Bearsona11. I am ICC, thanks for watching, peace.